Unification of China. During the 4th and 3rd centuries BC, the Qing state underwent a remarkable round of economic, political, and military development. Shang Yang, a famous reformer in Qing, encouraged peasant cultivators to migrate to the sparsely populated state, granting them private plots and allowing them to enjoy generous profits. His policy not only dramatically boosted agriculture production, but also weakened the economic position of the hereditary aristocratic classes. This approach also allowed Qing rulers to establish a centralized bureaucratic rule throughout their state. Meanwhile, they devoted the newfound wealth of their state to the organization of a powerful army equipped with the most effective iron weapons available, which greatly enhanced the state's military power. As Qing became stronger and stronger, Qing rulers attacked one state after another, absorbing each new conquest into their centralized structure, until finally they had brought China for the first time under the sway of a single state. In the year 221 BC, Qin Shi Huang, the king of Qing, proclaimed himself the first emperor. Though his dynasty lasted only 14 years, it had a significance that was out of proportion to its short life. Like the Achaemenid Empire in Persia, the Qing dynasty established a tradition of centralized imperial rule that provided large state political organization over the long term of Chinese history. The first emperor ignored the nobility and ruled his empire through a centralized bureaucracy. Government from his capital at Shenyang, near the early Zhou capital of Hao and the modern city of Xi'an, he divided the remainder of China into administrative provinces and districts and entrusted the communication and implementation of his policies to officers of the central government who served at the pleasure of the emperor himself. He disarmed regional military forces and destroyed fortresses that might serve as points of rebellion or resistance, and built network of roads that extended more than 6,800 kilometers to facilitate communications and movement of armies. He also launched several initiatives that enhanced the unity of China. In keeping with his policy of centralization, he standardized the laws, currencies, weights, and measures of the various regions of China. Previously, regional states had organized their own legal and economic systems, which often conflicted with one another and hampered commerce and communications across the state boundaries. Uniform coinage and legal standards encouraged the integration of China's various regions into a more tightly knit society than had ever been conceivable before. The roads and bridges that Qin Shi Huangdi built throughout his realm, like those built in other classical societies, also encouraged economic integration, though constructed largely with military uses in mind. They served as fine highways for inter-regional commerce. Perhaps even more important than his legal and economic policies was the first emperor's standardization of Chinese script. Before the Qing dynasty, all regions in China used scripts derived from the one employed at the Shang court, but they had developed along different lines and had become mutually unrecognizable. In hopes of ensuring better understanding and uniform application of his policies, Qin Shi Huangdi mandated the use of common script throughout his empire. The regions of China continued to use different spoken languages as they do even today, but they wrote those languages with a common script, just as if Europeans spoke English, French, and other languages but wrote them all down in Latin. As with rulers before and after him, the first emperor also developed plans to fortify his northern border to protect against the nomadic Mongols, skilled horse archers and ruthless invaders who killed thousands of Chinese soldiers in massive bloody battles. Though regional kings in northern and western regions of China had already constructed many walls in their realms in an effort to discourage raids by nomadic peoples, it was Qin Shi Huang whose tight control of China allowed him to conscript massive labor forces from all parts of China to link the existing sections into a massive defensive barrier that was a precursor to the Great Wall of China. The construction of these defensive walls, along with other ambitious public projects, caused workers to die by the thousands in harsh conditions, which generated tremendous ill will among laborers compelled to leave their families and their lands. The Qing dynasty quickly dissolved in chaos when waves of rebels overwhelmed the Qing court.